Jewish thought here. That's why I do this in these classes. I think this is a great collection of pieces. So, he knows about Darwin. He speaks about Darwin in the next paragraph. The next paragraph after that, the departure of the dedicated Jews would be even more to the advantage of the assimilated ones. You know, you'd be free of this problem. You could then assimilate as much as you wanted. Just let the ones who are dedicated go. They would be freed of the disquieting, unpredictable, and inescapable competition of Jewish proletariat driven by poverty and political pressure from place to place, from land to land. You know, the assimilated Jews in America and New York, when the masses came from Russia and Eastern Europe, they were like, oh my God, look at this mass of, you know, horrifying looking people. And it still exists in Jewish society today. The German, Central European, more intellectual, sophisticated Jews looking down on the Russian sort of mass of Jews that came. You know, it happens in all countries when that happens. So, further along down. This is a secret grievance of the assimilated, which finds expression in their philanthropic undertakings. They really want to get rid of these people. See, a lot of assimilated Jews were giving money to settle Jews somewhere, but usually somewhere else. Remove the paupers as quickly and as far away as possible, and thus many an apparent friend of the Jews turns out on closer examination to be no more than an anti-Semite of Jewish origin in philanthropist clothing. He's really tough. He's kind of pretty nasty. No wonder the philanthropist didn't want to help him. These people who were doing all this philanthropy at that time, settling Jews in Argentina and other places like that, there's a fellow named Baron Hirsch who was doing that. He says, you know, that's nice, but that is not what we're about. Next page. No human being is wealthy or powerful enough to transplant a people from one place or residence to another. In other words, rich philanthropists, other things can't do it. Only an idea can do it. He's very romantic, but I think very insightful. It's an idea that moves people. That's what moves large masses, numbers of people, an idea. The state idea has that kind of power. The Jews have dreamed their princely dream throughout the long night of their history, next year in Jerusalem. The very prayer that the reformers deleted. It's now a matter of showing that vague dream. They do it at the Passover Seder's, they drink and they say, next year in Jerusalem. Can be transformed to a clear and glowing idea. The unthinking, for example, might imagine the Exodus would have to take its way from civilization to the desert. That's not true. We don't have to go from high civilization to nothing. It will be carried out particularly entirely in the framework of civilization. And you know, now Israel is one of the most advanced Silicon Valley type countries in the world. And their economy is thriving even in this negative situation. And all the Arab lands around them, you know, okay, they have all the oil, but the average citizens are in penury. And you see, it's civilization that brings economic well-being and the ability to thrive. Look, we shall not revert to a lower stage. We shall go up to a higher one. We shall not dwell in mud huts. We shall build new, more beautiful modern houses and possess them in safety. Unfortunately, the world has not allowed that to totally happen, but where the Israelis have been able to work it there in a free manner, it does happen, and it benefits the surrounding populations, the Arabs too. And the worst thing that happened to the state of Israel was in the wake of the well, even before that, in the wake of the gas crisis and the Carter initiatives to force a peace process on them, and then the Bush initiatives after the first Gulf War to further force that peace process on them. All that occurred because of the peace process was to divide the Jews and the Arabs totally, whereas before I was there, I know they were all thriving together, and everyone was actually benefiting and rather enjoying the situation. It was only the Arabs who were overseas who were envious and jealous. And what the Bush peace process brought in was to bring all the Arabs from overseas who were, agitating and so on in Tunis and Lebanon and these other places back into Palestine and arm them, and then polarize the whole place with suicide bombings. And not only arm them, but give them such arms that they could then be far more destructive than anything previously. So the peace process just brought more war. And that's one of the problems of crying peace. I mean, you can say peace is easy to cry. Everyone wants peace. I'm for peace, I'm for peace. Well, you're just a wonderful person. But because you're for peace doesn't mean you're going to get it. And sometimes, you have to have strength to get peace. This is what we're seeing in the Middle East in our policy. Oh, all the people want peace. We'll withdraw, we'll have peace. No, you won't have peace. You won't have peace. Doesn't mean you have to dominate anybody. But peace is something that comes through a certain amount of strength and resolution and so on. In any case, the point is that the peace process brought a terrible deterioration in the lives of everybody in Israel, not just the Jews and what they were trying to achieve, but the Arabs too have just, suffered miserably as a result of bringing all these thugs in from other countries and arming them. And we're not finished with the thugs. The armed thugs in the Middle East are in the ascendancy. Anyway, he says that the Jews, we could have a very modern, beautiful civilization, and that's true. That's what was developing. I saw that developing in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We're not going to lose our acquisitions. We shall surrender our well-earned rights for better ones. We relinquish none of our cherished customs. He's writing this to Jews, mind you. We shall find them again. We shall not leave our old home until the new one is available. This is another interesting point now. We should have advanced parties who go first. People shouldn't leave a home for nothing. And the new one has to be available. That's what he means by political Zionism. There must be a clear charter here that is granted in some manner to them. And this is what didn't occur. And I think this is the root cause of not really following Herzl's program and his premature death, the tragedy of it, not the root cause of many of the problems. Those only will depart who are sure thereby to improve their condition. The people who are suffering the most